Have you ever wondered what really happens when you stop talking to a man? Whether it's intentional or not, your silence speaks volumes, and his response can tell you everything you need to know about how he feels. In this video, we're breaking down exactly what a man does when you suddenly go silent. 1. He gets curious. When you suddenly stop talking to a man, the first thing that happens is curiosity sets in. Whether it was a deep connection or just casual conversations, your silence won't go unnoticed. At first, he might assume you're just busy or preoccupied with other things in life. He might not react immediately, thinking it's just a temporary phase. But as time passes and he realizes you haven't reached out, his curiosity starts to grow. He begins to wonder, did something happen? Did I say something wrong? Is she upset with me? His mind goes into overdrive, replaying past conversations and interactions to look for clues. He starts questioning whether there was a shift in your behavior that he didn't notice before. This is especially true if you were always the one initiating conversations, checking up on him, or showing consistent interest. Now that you're silent, he feels the void, and it makes him uneasy. One of the first things he might do is check his phone. He'll scroll through old messages, trying to figure out if he missed any signs of trouble. If you were active on social media, he might go through your recent posts or stories, looking for hints about your mood or activities. In some cases, he might even ask mutual friends if something is going on with you, trying to get an indirect answer without reaching out himself. Curiosity often leads to self-doubt. He might start overanalyzing every small detail. Did I take too long to reply last time? Did I say something that could have upset her? If he genuinely values your presence, this curiosity will turn into concern. He'll start to feel unsettled, wondering whether he made a mistake that caused you to withdraw. For men who are emotionally invested, curiosity can quickly evolve into frustration. They don't like the feeling of uncertainty, especially if they are used to having control in their relationships. He may try subtle ways to get your attention, such as liking your posts, commenting on something, or even sending a casual message like, "Hey, everything okay?" If he doesn't hear back, his curiosity can push him to take more direct action. Ultimately, the way he responds to this curiosity tells you a lot about his feelings. If he truly cares, he won't just wonder. He'll make an effort to understand why you've gone silent. If he doesn't, then your silence just revealed his level of interest. 2. He starts missing you. Once curiosity sets in, it doesn't take long for a man to start missing you, especially if you played a meaningful role in his life. Silence creates a void, and when someone is used to having you around, that void becomes noticeable. At first, he might brush it off, thinking it's just a short break or that you'll eventually reach out. But as more time passes without hearing from you, the absence begins to sink in. He starts to realize how much he enjoyed your presence, whether it was through daily conversations, shared jokes, or even simple check-ins. The little things you did, sending a good morning text, sharing funny memes, or asking about his day, suddenly stand out more than they ever did before. These were the moments he may have taken for granted, but now that they're gone, he feels the difference. This feeling of missing you can manifest in different ways. He might find himself constantly checking his phone, hoping to see a message from you. Even if he tells himself he won't reach out first, he'll still glance at his notifications more often than usual. Social media can also amplify these emotions. If he sees you posting and living your life without him, it could trigger a mix of emotions: curiosity, longing, and even jealousy. He may start watching your stories more frequently, liking old posts, or even commenting on something just to get a reaction from you. Certain things will remind him of you unexpectedly. Maybe he hears a song that you both used to talk about, or he visits a place where you once spent time together. Even everyday activities, like drinking coffee in the morning or scrolling through his phone at night, might make him think about you because those were the moments when you would usually talk. If the emotional connection was strong, he may start reminiscing about the good times you shared. He'll recall deep conversations, inside jokes, and even the way you made him feel when you were around. The absence of that emotional support or companionship can hit harder than he expected. At this stage, he's not just curious about why you stopped talking. He genuinely starts to feel the loss. And if he truly cares, this feeling of missing you might be the push he needs to take action, whether that means reaching out, apologizing for any mistakes, or making an effort to reconnect. 3. He tests the waters. After curiosity sets in and he realizes he misses you, the next thing a man will do is test the waters. He wants to know where he stands with you without making himself too vulnerable. He's unsure if you've stopped talking to him because you're upset, uninterested, or just busy. Instead of jumping straight into a full conversation, he'll take a cautious approach to see how you respond, if at all. The first thing he might do is send a subtle message. It could be something simple like, "Hey, how have you been?" or "Hope you're doing well." These messages may seem casual on the surface, but they're his way of checking if you'll engage. He's looking for clues in how quickly, or if, you respond and the tone of your reply. If you reply with short, dry messages, he'll sense that something is off. If you don't respond at all, that's an even stronger signal. Aside from direct messages, he may try more passive ways to get your attention. For example, he might start liking your social media posts, reacting to your stories, or commenting on something in a lighthearted way. He may even bring up an inside joke or reference something you both enjoyed to spark a sense of nostalgia. These subtle moves allow him to gauge whether you're still interested in interacting with him. In some cases, he might take an indirect route and ask mutual friends about you. If he's too hesitant to reach out directly, he may casually inquire about how you've been, hoping to get some insight into your thoughts or emotions. This is his way of testing if you've moved on or if you might still be open to reconnecting. If he's feeling bold, he might even try to create a scenario where you accidentally cross paths. Maybe he shows up at places he knows you frequent or finds reasons to be in your social circle. This could be a subconscious way of putting himself in your view, hoping you'll acknowledge him first. Ultimately, how he tests the waters depends on how much he values the connection. If he truly cares, he'll make an effort to check in, even if he's subtle about it. But if he does nothing and lets you fade away, that speaks volumes too. Either way, his response to your silence tells you exactly where you stand. 4. He realizes your value. As time passes and your silence continues, a man will start to realize your value in ways he may not have before. At first, he was just curious about why you stopped talking. Then, he began to miss your presence. After testing the waters and perhaps not getting the response he wanted, he enters a stage of deeper reflection. This is when he truly starts to recognize what you brought into his life. If he took you for granted before, your absence now highlights just how much you contributed to his happiness, comfort, and daily routine. The little things that once seemed minor, your kind words, support, laughter, and presence, now stand out as significant. He may not have noticed them while you were around, but now that they're gone, he feels the difference. This is when he starts comparing life with you to life without you, and the contrast can be eye-opening. One of the most powerful realizations a man has during this stage is emotional stability. If you were someone who listened to him, supported his dreams, or encouraged him during difficult times, he starts to understand just how important that emotional connection was. He might recall the times you stood by him, offering advice or simply being there when he needed someone to talk to. Now that he doesn't have that anymore, he realizes that not everyone provides that kind of presence in life. Beyond emotional value, he may also recognize the uniqueness of your personality. The way you made him feel, the energy you brought into his life, or even the fun, spontaneous moments you shared, all of it starts to become clearer to him. If he had taken your presence for granted, this stage serves as a wake-up call. He begins to understand that the connection you had wasn't something ordinary, it was something special. At this point, his realization can lead to two different outcomes. If he truly values you, he will try to reconnect and make things right. He might reflect on his mistakes, take accountability, and put in real effort to restore the relationship or friendship. On the other hand, if he doesn't take action despite realizing your value, it simply means he wasn't as invested as you thought. In that case, your silence has done you a favor by revealing his true priorities. Either way, when a man realizes your value, it forces him to make a choice: fight for you or lose you forever. 5. He reacts in one of two ways. At this stage, after experiencing curiosity, missing you, testing the waters, and realizing your value, a man reaches a critical turning point: his reaction. By now, he fully understands that something has changed, and he must decide how to respond. His reaction will fall into one of two categories. Either he will step up and make an effort to reconnect, or he will withdraw and do nothing, essentially letting the silence become permanent. Option 1. He takes action. If he truly values you and realizes that your absence has left a significant void in his life, he won't just sit back and let you slip away. He will take action. This can manifest in several ways. He reaches out directly. If he genuinely cares, he'll message or call you, asking if everything is okay. His approach might vary, ranging from a simple "Hey, I miss talking to you" to a heartfelt apology if he believes he made a mistake. He tries to fix things. If he reflects on past conversations and realizes he may have hurt or upset you, he might try to make things right. He may acknowledge his mistakes, offer an explanation, or express regret for taking you for granted. He puts in more effort. You'll notice a shift in his behavior. If he was distant before, he may now be more attentive, checking in on you and initiating conversations more frequently. This reaction shows that he recognizes your importance and doesn't want to lose the connection you shared. He understands that if he does nothing, he risks losing you for good, and that thought pushes him to act. Option 2. He does nothing. On the other hand, if he doesn't genuinely care or values his pride more than the connection, he might do nothing at all. Instead of reaching out, he lets the silence continue. This happens when he was never fully invested. If he wasn't deeply attached to you, he may not feel the need to chase after you. He's emotionally immature. Some men struggle with vulnerability and avoid confrontation, even if they miss you. He thinks you'll come back eventually. If he assumes you'll initiate contact again, he might just wait it out instead of making an effort. While this outcome may be disappointing, it gives you clarity. His lack of effort tells you exactly where you stand. If he does nothing, he's showing you that he was never truly invested, and that's your answer. Ultimately, his reaction reveals everything you need to know. Either he steps up and proves you matter, or he shows you that your silence was the right decision all along. Silence is powerful. It reveals the truth about people's intentions and emotions. If a man values you, he won't let you slip away without a fight. But if he doesn't, your silence just saved you time. Either way, you win.